Welcome to the Boating Adventure. There have been two incidents this year when I've had to try and help get somebody out of the water who has fallen from their boat. The first one happened on the day that I arrived at the marina. When we got here, we moored the swamp duck just outside the marina, came into the office and checked in, and they suggested that I came to the pontoon, to the walkway, just to re-establish where I was going to bring the boat, because although I had the numbers are on the walkway side, they're not visible from the waterway, so I needed just to come and find out where exactly I was heading for. When we came through this gate, we immediately came across a lady who was on a boat which was half in and half out of the mooring, and her husband was in the water clinging to a fender for dear life, and she was shouting, "Can you help me?" So we immediately sprang into action, and I managed to come and collect this ladder. Fortunately, each of the pontoon entrances, the gates to the walkways, have an emergency ladder, so we're able to lower that into the water, and between three of us we were able to get him to the ladder. He was in some difficulty. He was a more mature gentleman, and because the water was so cold, he really had lost the use of his legs. And so between the three of us and the ladder, we were able to get him out. I spoke to him about 3 weeks later, and he was fine. He was very grateful, but I was relieved that he was okay, more than anything. The second occasion was when Steve lost his grip of a lock ladder because it was very slimy, and he'd kind of overreached, lost his balance, and fell in a lock on our way into Leicester. And again, fortunately, he was okay. With the help of two young lads who happened to be sitting by the lock, we managed to be able to guide him to the lock ladder. It was quite difficult to get him onto the lock ladder, and that was partly due to the fact that the water levels in the river were really low, so that when the lock emptied, it went down below the beginning of the lock ladder. So we had to kind of like lift his foot onto it, because he was gripping on to the boat and the ladder for dear life, and he couldn't really lift his leg up on his own. But we managed to get him out. So again, it was a ladder that saved the day. According to the Royal Yachting Association's handbook, they do advise that every boat should have a ladder, whereby if you fall in the water, then you're able to use the ladder to climb back into the boat. Because once you're in the water, although the boat doesn't look all that high up, it's extremely difficult to reach up and pull yourself out of the water. Some of the larger cruisers on this marina are fortunate that they have a platform at the back of the boat which is specifically designed for doing just that. It's really meant for people jumping off the back of the boat and going for a swim or diving or that kind of thing. So it's quite easy for them to get onto that platform and get back onto the boat. But if you look around the marina, there are more boats that don't have any means of getting back onto the boat that is visible, at least. They might have ladders or something tucked away, but they're not that obvious. Not wishing to be in a position a third time where I couldn't get somebody out of the water, I decided to have a look round and see what I could do to the swamp duck to provide a means of getting back onto the boat. And I've come up with one of these. This is a kind of a strap ladder. It's made of these very strong straps, and you can see that on this side it even has a fluorescent finish, so you could see it in the dark. And then it has a couple of carabiners to attach the ladder to the side of the boat. Now there are only two places really where I could put this for it to be of use. I can't attach it to the back of the boat because of the gas bottles and also the engine. So I'm going to put this onto the side of the boat, as close to the side entrance as I can. And in order to do that, I have bought some quite strong eye bolts, steel eye bolts, which I'm going to drill a hole through the structure of the boat at the side here and attach the carabiners to these eye bolts. So that's my plan, and that's what I intend to have a go at doing today. So at least you can have a foothold to be able to try and lever yourself out of the water. These weren't massively expensive. I think they were $14.99. So for 30 quid I can make sure I've got a means of getting somebody out of the water and back into safety. These bolts, which I got from Screwfix, were less than £2 each. I need to position the bolts through here, so they go through this part of the boat, and there's a piece of wood at the other side, so it's got to go through a fair thickness. Once the bolt's gone through, I will then saw it off so that it's not sticking out. That's gone through a lot quicker than I thought it would. So there's the bolt. So all I have to do now is to remove this excess bolt. It didn't take me long to get through that. So that's the bolt cut to size, and you can see the eye the other side. So it'll just be a matter of putting the carabiner through there, and we've got a good anchorage for the ladder. 3 more to go. The bottom rung of the ladder is almost in line with the bottom of the boat there. Okay, so that takes seconds to deploy. I just need to fit another one to the other side of the boat. I've now installed all of the eye bolts. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of pouches on the side of the boat that I've made to fold the ladders up and put them in. So it'll keep them out of the way. So they'll sort of go like that, and there's a little clip in the middle just to keep them in situ. And then I've got a red Dougie Come Quickly cord, so if you're in the water it'll be long enough for you to pull it open and the ladder will drop out. That's the theory, and we'll see how we go with that one. Okay, so that's the idea. I've made a pouch, and the vast majority of the strap is in the pouch underneath this piece of wood, and yeah, the flap of the canopy goes over the top, so you'd hardly notice it was there. But then it can be pulled out with this Dougie come and help me cord, which can just dangle at the side of the boat here. So if you're in the water, then you can just pull it and the ladder will come out. I just need to turn the boat round so I can fix the one on the other side. I'll swear that these guys can smell bread even when it's in a plastic wrapper. Good morning. Morning. The next little job that I wanted to have a go at concerns the windscreen. Up till now, my only method of clearing water off the windscreen when it rains is to put my arm out and either use a cloth or this rubber window cleaner thing, which is okay until it's obviously continuous rain, and then you're forever having to put your hand out the window and clear it, and it's not that successful. So what I would like to do is to add a proper windscreen wiper. Now I've been waiting absolutely ages to get this windscreen wiper motor. It had to be this one because it has an extra long shaft on it, because that's got to go through quite a wide window bar at the top of the window. I'm still waiting for the actual wiper arm and the wiper blade to come, but that is on its way, and fingers crossed I might have it in a week or two. But I thought I could probably get this installation on the go straight away, get this wired up. It's obviously 12 volt, there's a couple of terminals just here, so it's a matter of connecting it up to some electricity somewhere. I'll find a connection. It has its own separate on-off switch, so I may or may not put another switch on. Just depends if I've got room for it. I'm going to put a fuse in between it and the battery somewhere, but I thought I'd have a go today at just getting this located ready. So this is where the motor has got to go, through this bar here, which is triangular in shape. So I need to drill a hole there and try and keep the angle of the window pane itself, and I'm going to put it somewhere in this part here, in the flattest part of the window, because the window curves around. So I've got to get it to about here, so it's in the middle. And this doesn't give a massive sweep, it's but enough just to clear some space here so we could actually see out of the window in torrential rain. I'm going to drill a little pilot hole here, but it'll be easier to do it from the other side, so I'll be able to keep the angle. So I'm going to do quite a small pilot hole, and that will also enable me to measure the width of that properly. So that's my job, to go outside and drill a pilot hole from that side. So this is going to be the size of the hole that I actually need. So I think it's a case of just drilling through a little bit at a time, because it's quite a sensitive structure that, and I don't want to weaken it in any way. So I'm going to drill very carefully, use a few sizes down before I get to the actual size. So you can see it coming out this side, that's where the shaft comes out. If I look at one or two of my neighbours' boats, they have a similar setup. This one here has got a similar motor underneath there. They've had to just cut a piece out of the canopy. I'm going to try and avoid that if I can. One of the biggest advantages of having the boat in this marina is the fact that it does have its own chandlery, and it sells all sorts of little bits and bobs, so I can go and have a look to see if I can buy a little packet of washers just to finish that off. Okay, we have the motor in place. And that's in the off position, and that's on the on position. So I think it's fairly secure. There's a bit of wiggle on it. Maybe need to tighten just here and here, but that essentially is it. And that's the shaft coming through. So the arm goes on here and then drops down there, and that should do it. The next task is to wire it in, and I can follow the same route as this extra navigation light that I put in recently and make use of those. So I've now wired it all in, and followed the same wiring as this light. Just need to put some clips in here, I think, just to keep this wire nice and neat and out of the way. And it goes through here, and it goes behind the board here, and then into the console underneath. And I managed to tap into some wiring, and I've got it on a switch here. So that makes it easy to operate. I don't have to do it up here. So that's on, and when I lift it up, that's on, and it follows the same positioning as the light. So all I have to do now is to wait for the arm and the blades to come, and then I can fix that on. I've now managed to get hold of the wiper arm and the wiper blade. They've actually arrived a little bit earlier than they were due to. So all I have to do now is to fit this to the shaft. I'm going to have to do a bit of hacksawing of that shaft, because I think it comes out too far at the moment, and it is designed to cut to size, so that's what I'm going to do. It is a little bit windy out there today, so I'm not quite sure what the quality of the video will be as regards wind noise, so I'll try and keep that to a minimum if I can. But that's my job, that's what I've got to do. I've cut down the shaft quite considerably now, so that the arm can fit on here, and then it will be able to touch the window with the blade. another little electrical job that I want to attend to is this here, because when we're out on the swamp duck and we're in a marina, I haven't got any 240 volts on the port side of the boat at all, so we're running cables just to boil the kettle, which is a bit inconvenient. So I want to try and put a 240 volt, say good morning, a 240 volt, yeah, we're just there, where that will be handy then, because then we could sit the kettle where the gas kettle is. And also I have a small electrical hot plate which we can use for boiling, for cooking. So that's another little job I'm going to do. So it's just a matter of sighting the plug socket here and then running a wire and hiding it behind the cupboards and taking it to the power source. So that's something I'm going to have a go at this afternoon. That's another small task achieved. So I've now got some 240 volt electricity on the port side of the boat, which is going to be very useful for making a cup of tea. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about any of the products that I've installed into the boat, then please drop your questions in the comments section below and I'll try and answer them, or send them via email to the channel email address, which is e1e21c3@gmail.com, and I'll answer them there, and maybe even make a short video of the questions and answers. So thank you very much for watching, and do take care.